Right, welcome to another edition of OnsideSA. And Budge, we're getting down to the time where it really counts. And everyone seems to be going through. I know there's only 2 weeks left.
Yeah.
But let's just have a look. We've got Ravesh Badassi, Gary Citron without the E, Alan Costa and Alan Duplessis, Crystal Palace, Tottenham. They all went through. So they've got 2 weeks to go. It's getting tougher.
Yeah. Paul, this weekend, I've obviously liaised with the guys. There's a Premiership. There's, I think, 8 Premiership games, but there is one on Monday and Tuesday.
Right.
And the FA Cup final is included. So everybody knows. The ladies have been told as well. So
talking about the ladies,
yeah.
Carol Whitehead, Ashley Berger, Katerina Harito, all were on Crystal Palace.
Yeah.
They
don't miss too many tricks, the ladies. They got caught once. Not going to get caught again.
I think Carol's been prompted by colours.
There's no possibility that Garth has any say.
No say, okay.
In the...
Right, now let's get Stevie B on the line. Stevie's there in a warming up UK. Steve, are you there?
I'm here, good morning.
Welcome back. Okay.
Anyway.
Budge?
Indeed, yeah.
I'd like to get your opinion and Steve's opinion on the FA Cup final to start. What do you think, boys?
Steve, what do you think FA Cup final?
Well, Chelsea, you're not sure what you're going to get with them. I mean, Liverpool haven't been at their best in the last couple of league games, really. They stuttered a little bit the other night, stuttered against Spurs. But, I think Klopp is... I think he feels that the league has gone, so I think they're gonna want to win this FA Cup, and then all systems go for the Champions League. So I think Liverpool by a goal. Hopefully in normal time.
Steve, talking to Liverpool, we've got to do the preview of midweek. 2-1 against Aston Villa. I thought it was an exceptional game. How did you see it?
Yeah, it was a good game. I mean, obviously, Villa weren't going to roll over. They got nothing to play for apart from pride. But Steven Gerrard obviously wants to go out with the bang. Took an early lead. I think Liverpool got back into it quickly, but they made hard work of it. Villa gave them a game. Ollie Watkins looked quite sharp. But Liverpool did what they had to do. They sort of ground the result out, and I think once they went ahead, you felt that was going to be it. I know Danny Ings had a goal disallowed, but
he had a free header, Steve. He had a free header.
Yeah,
he missed it.
No, absolutely.
He
Klopp,
shone.
Klopp has obviously sort of rotated a little bit. I mean, I think some people might have been surprised that he rested Salah and Konate initially, but be interesting to see who he starts with. You'd expect to see Konate back in, and probably Salah to start.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
Steve, Leeds United. What was Daniel James thinking of already without Luke Ayling? He should get shot for that tackle.
Yeah, you can't do that.
I think it's just very poor discipline.
Yeah.
And I know that Jesse March wanted them to be fired up, but as well as that, Calvin Phillips could have gone. I mean, his challenge was just as bad.
Yeah.
I think he was very lucky to stay on. And obviously Marty Atkinson probably thought, well, I can't send a second one off. I think they did well to keep it to 3 because they were totally outplayed Leeds, and you do worry for them. They've got 2 games left, and I'd be surprised if they win. And even one win might not be enough for them. So. I think at the moment the bookies don't normally get it wrong. They've got Leeds as favourites to go down now.
Yeah, I just see you say you can't play without decent players.
Leeds got to raise it, but you've got to raise it.
Well, the problem is you need intelligence and you're in those relegation battles. You saw Yerry Mina at Everton. He was crunching within the rules. That Luke Ayling and that tackle last night was pathetic.
They started passionately, and I could see they were fired up, as Steve said, and then a striker coming through like that.
And especially him, he's been at Man United. He should know a lot better. He's played at Wales.
18 games he hasn't scored.
Yeah. Steve, the other game, Leicester 3, Norwich 0. I didn't see much of it. Did you?
I watched it.
I saw the highlights and look at the stats. It was really end to end. I mean, Norwich had a lot of chance.
Well,
Steve, in the first half, Pookie was unlucky.
Steve, forget Pookie unlucky. They had 2-on-1, he pulled it square, the keeper saved it, it bounced to their striker, he hit it, he saved it again. They should have been 1 up. Then he hit the post, run away, Pookie, he hits it against they should have been 2-3 up. The Norwich were much better value than that scoreline.
Yeah. So, Paul, I suppose you've got Jamie Vardy, give him a chance and
Good player.
he'll take it.
Yeah, I think that was it. I think once went one up, but the sounds of it, they were always going to win that Leicester. But they, as I say, I mean, Norwich, have gone down with a fight, but it just shows at the one end they're not clinical enough, and at the other end they obviously are leaking goals. So, I think their season is ending with a whimper, in all honesty.
Yeah, well, Everton have ending the season with a good challenge. The goalkeeper's kept them in it. I'm not a lover of him, Pickford, but his last few games he's done great. They should have beat Watford last night. I've watched about half an hour of it, Steve. They had chances.
Okay.
You know, with Watford defended well. They played well. Woeful up front. Yeah. There wasn't a shot into it. They got a tall guy up front who's all touch and flutch and just not good enough at the moment. He'll do better in the Championship. They struggle up front.
I don't think they had a shot on. They didn't have a shot on target.
No, not one.
That sort of sums it up. I think Everton might be disappointed didn't get the 3 points. But,
correct.
The way that things are at the moment, I think that 1 point may well be because they've now got they've still got a game in hand, and their next 2 games are at home.
So they're not going down.
They're not going. But they're playing Arsenal, who are fighting for fourth. They're fighting for fourth.
And
so
Brentford.
It makes Brentford. It makes it interesting.
Brentford and Crystal Palace at home. So but I think they'd fancy their chances to get maybe if they got 4 points, be enough to stay up. Because you can see. I can't see Burnley and Leeds overtaking them now.
No chance. And the Kevin De Bruyne show, it's amazing. Cometh the time after they got knocked out.
I mean,
what a player.
I mean, he was so clinical. I mean, the finishing, and then he was unlucky at the end. He went through. I thought he's going to get far, and he hit the post. It was City have just, City have obviously shrugged off the disappointments of losing at Madrid as the 2 5-goal salvos. And it's not just the fact they're 3 points clear of Liverpool now, but the difference is 7. That you can't see other than City winning the league now. I couldn't imagine that they could not win one of their last 2 games, because that's all they need to do with their goal difference. So
Now the big game tonight, Steve. Tottenham, Arsenal. Be careful with your answer, but who do you fancy?
Well, look, I was listening to Martin Keown on Match of the Day last night, and he basically said this is probably the biggest game between these 2 teams in generation, because but there hasn't been as much to play for as there is tonight. It's winner take all. Tottenham have to win, because anything other than a Tottenham win, Arsenal will finish 4th, basically.
Steve,
whereas Tottenham, and Burnley, before Arsenal played, then they 2 points clear. I think it'll be a fantastic game. I'm really looking forward to that. It's a tough one to call. Arsenal had played a lot better. Interesting enough, against Leeds, the first sort of half an hour, you thought they were going to wipe the floor with them, but in the end, they didn't sort of finish them off as they should. I think Tottenham know what they've got to do. I can't see Conte's being too cautious. I think they've got to go for it, and they've got to try and attack this Arsenal team. They're a young team, Arsenal. And I think if we got ahead, I think it would be tough for them. Unfortunately, sitting on the fence, I fancy a draw here, and I think that would be enough for Arsenal.
No draw.
Spurs.
Spurs all the way.
Anyway, Steve, 2 major signings during the week. Erling Haaland going to Man City. Does that make them even stronger favourites?
It should do. I mean, obviously it's incredible they've done what they've done without a real number 9. And I think people have been saying for quite a while that that's what they need. Look, I mean, this time last year, and obviously it looked like Lukaku was going to Chelsea, and the way he started, people thought he was the missing part of the jigsaw, but it hasn't worked out. I think Haaland will find it a lot harder here than he has in the Bundesliga. There's teams at the bottom there are sort of fodder. But he is a good player, and he's got great touch, and he knows where the goal is. And I think, playing with those players around him at City, I think he will score goals. So I think it will strengthen them. And it's a good signing. It's a good signing.
They got him for a good price.
51. He had a buyout clause.
Well, the bottom line was he had that price, a buyout clause, which was set at a sensible level. But it's going to cost City, I reckon, about 200 million over the contract, because agents' fees, his fee, this is not a cheap signing, but so on the face of it, it's not like they paid 100 million for him. Up front, it's 200 over 4 years, which is there aren't many teams that could to do.
Yeah, when you see what some of those Man United players are getting, Steve, I think it's cheap. Steve, Antonio Rudiger going to Real Madrid. Do you don't think they let the cat out the bag too early?
Well, he obviously set his heart on wanting to go.
Yeah.
Chelsea can't do anything about it. His contract comes to an end. They're not allowed to speak to him at all about it. So that he's obviously made his mind up, and Madrid have agreed terms with him. Chelsea can't do anything, until the deal has gone through, which they're talking about maybe in the next few years. They can't talk to any players about contracts. So I think they'll be disappointed, especially, he is their best centre half, and if Christensen is going as well, they've left themselves with Thiago Silva. I mean, they've got 2 centre halves basically.
Yeah.
And I think that will be high on there. I think that's going to be priority.
Yeah, no doubt. Steve, we've got you for the entire show as far as the betting goes. We're going to call up the Premiership fixtures for Sunday, and the Tottenham-Burnley game, for my 2 bobs worth. If Spurs don't get a result tonight, say they get beat, I just wonder whether it could suit Burnley. They may be able to sneak a draw. But if Spurs get a result tonight, I think Burnley are into 4 or 5. Yeah. How do you see it?
Yeah, I mean, I think the way Burnley had been playing recently, I think the way they were beaten so easily at home by Villa last week, I think took a lot of people by surprise. They were beaten, and I thought they might get a result, or at least hold them.
Yeah.
I still fancy Tottenham. Whatever happens tonight, I think Tottenham would certainly want to finish strongly at home.
Yeah.
And I just fear for Burnley a little bit, because the way they sort of capitulated against Villa does make you want. Having said that, I think Leeds so poor. I think Burnley don't need to do a lot more now. I can see Tottenham winning this, whatever. But as you say, if win tonight, I think then they would really put Burnley to the sword. But I think they'd be too strong anyway.
Yeah, I agree. I think Spurs will win. I think they'll win tonight. So I feel for Burnley. Now, the next game, I think, should be a cracker. Aston Villa, Crystal Palace. How do you see it?
Yeah, I mean, look, Villa played really well at Burnley, and they played very well in patches against Liverpool. And Palace, are finishing relatively strongly. I think there'll be goals.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be at all surprised. It's a high-scoring draw. Palace are not an easy side to beat. So I think
Palace
I can't see Palace winning there.
Can't see Palace winning.
But I fancy.
So you fancy a score draw?
I fancy, a few goals.
Yeah,
I
agree.
fancy a score draw. It could be done like 2-2.
Yeah, I agree. I think there'll be goals in that game. Both teams to score, I think, was like 8-10. I thought that was my game. This is a game that could go either way. Palace are a really improved team. They've only lost 2 of the last 10. But those 2 came away from home. But I agree, score draw wouldn't surprise me. I think they've got the betting the wrong way around here, Steve. Brighton 19-10, Leeds 14-10. Do you agree?
Yeah, definitely. I can't see, based on, again, whether or not some of these odds were set a few days ago.
Yeah, they were. They were set yesterday before the...
Yeah, if you looked at, Leeds have got now 2 key players suspended, another half a dozen key players out injured. They're playing the kids, because one of the criticisms has been that they didn't strengthen the squad enough, and so they're having to bring kids on.
Yeah.
I think the way Brighton have been playing, and I know that it was an exceptional result, but Brighton have really found some form in the last few weeks, and I would be surprised if they lose at Leeds. Yeah. And I think if they win, I think that could be it for Leeds pretty much. I fancy Brighton.
Yeah.
Steve, don't you think they'll be hanging off the rafters on Sunday, the Leeds supporters, knowing that they need a win? They'll be there screaming. It'll be the greatest support they can have.
Absolutely. Look, they do give. They got great support. They had great support last. Had great support against City. But I think the problem is on the pitch. They can't. There's something that's not quite right. Jesse Marsch went there. They got a couple of really, reasonable
3 in a
results.
row, yeah.
But as I say, the discipline has cost them.
Yeah.
Discipline has cost them. They've had key injuries. I mean, Calvin Phillips was out a big chunk of the season. Patrick Bamford has been fit the whole season.
Yeah.
So you sort of feel for them that two of their key players who were their stars last season have not been available to them, and I think that undermines the fact, as I said before, their squad is one of the thinnest in the league, and I think that was a mistake, and they weren't able to do anything about it as they should have in January.
Yeah. I agree. The fans will be up for it. They know there are no more mistakes. They don't get anything out of this game. They're gone. Steve, Watford, Leicester.
Yeah.
1 draw and 11 defeats at home. Surely Leicester got to win.
I would think so. I mean, in Leicester now, obviously got nothing to play for. But when you look at their team, they got for me, too much quality. I mean, Watford, stopped the rot after 11 home defeats in a row last night. But I mean, it's interesting when you saw it. They had their smallest crowd of the season by far, thousands of empty seats last night.
Yeah.
And I think the fans have decided enough's enough. I think Leicester convincingly for me.
Yeah, agree. Man City go to West Ham on Sunday. Big game. Do you see the league being over after this game?
It is. Well, yeah, I think it would be. I think West Ham a few weeks ago probably would have given them a game, but their league form. I mean, obviously the Norwich were apart. The league form has dropped off because obviously they were, had one eye on the Europa League. Look, you just think the City are unstoppable. They've lost 1 or 2 players, but the squad is so strong, and the way that Kevin De Bruyne played last night, he could take anybody on his own.
Yeah.
I think it'll be a good game. I think West Ham want to finish strongly at home. Well, I just think they win this, then it's over for they've won the league basically.
Yeah, they look like they're playing with a needle, Man City, destroying everybody that they come up against. I agree, 4-10 I think is a gift, but West Ham will put up a fight. Now, Wolves, Norwich. I know Norwich, according to you guys, I didn't see the highlights, had chances. Wolves, I thought, played okay last night, even though De Bruyne's 4. Surely they've got to beat Norwich at home, Steve.
Yeah, I would think so. I mean, Norwich are just playing for a bit of pride, but but they concede goals.
Yeah.
They've conceded a lot in the last few weeks. I think Wolves concede normally. I think that was a shock to I mean, not as much City are putting goals past everybody, but Wolves generally don't concede, and they had a good result last week. They came back strongly at Chelsea to get those goals. So I fancy Wolves by at least.
Yeah, a goal or 2, I agree. Now, Steve, the next game's going to be a tough game. It's a late game on Sunday. Everton versus Brentford. Should be a good game.
It should be. The Goodison crowd know that these 2 home games could determine them staying up, and in fact if they win and Leeds lose, then it's over for Leeds anyway. So I think they'll be up for it. Everton, they know that they've beaten United, beaten Chelsea at home recently. Brentford have had a decent run. They're not going to be an easy side to beat, but I think that Everton know what they've got to do, and I think I'd be really surprised if they're not really up for it and eke out. I think it'll be close, but Everton's goal, and I think that would be enough probably to keep them up.
Yeah, I agree. I don't see them getting beat Everton. Now, my upset of the weekend is Newcastle to roll Arsenal. That's St James's. Do you agree?
Please, you're right.
No, I don't. I think it depends also what happens tonight in the Arsenal game, because I think if Arsenal, I don't think Arsenal can take their foot off the pedal at all. Newcastle were well beaten by City last week.
Yeah.
They had a decent run, but I think Arsenal know that if they go to St James's, whether they win, lose or draw tonight, they know that they have to get a result. And I think that I think for me, if there was going to be a winner, I'd plumb for Arsenal.
Yeah,
split in the camp.
Split in the camp. I just think they've only lost 1 of the last 9 at home, and that was at home to Liverpool.
Yeah.
And it was a lunchtime kickoff. I think they got a bit of stage fright. They got woken up last week. And this is their cup final, Newcastle. Remember the 4-4 game from yesteryear?
Yeah.
I just like what absolutely. I see. I know Man City have destroyed everybody, but I'm not really impressed with Arsenal. Maybe I'm one of the few that isn't.
They struggled against 10-man leads.
Yeah, big game tonight. They don't get a result. The pressure will be on. I've got my doubts. Steve, you're going to pull the betting up for the FA Cup final.
Yeah.
Do you think? I think 26-10, the 90-minute draw is good value.
That's good
what
value.
do you think?
I agree.
Yeah, well, look, I mean, Chelsea are not going to be easy to beat, and in fact, they have surprise teams in the cup. They've got a good pedigree in the cup. I'm not quite sure what team he's going to play. No one knows. Is he going to start with Havertz? Is he going to start with Lukaku?
Yeah, Havertz will play.
Lukaku scored one, but he missed that hatful.
He's got three.
You're not
Three
quite
in his
sure.
last 2 games.
I don't know. I mean, he obviously does, but I don't think most people know what his best 11 is. Whereas, Liverpool, you can pretty much, depending if everyone's fit, pretty much have an idea who's going to start, or at least, his 13 are going to be, the first 2 to come on. I think Liverpool, it's going to be close. I think it's going to be, and I hope it is close. I mean, we want to see.
We want a good game.
We don't want to see a one-sided cup final. We want a good game. So, I thought the Liverpool City game was a little bit too one-sided at times. So, I still fancy Liverpool just about in the 90 minutes or possibly extra time. Hopefully not penalties. Well, but, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, well, the 3 meetings this season all ended up in a draw. To me, the key is my man Kovacic in the middle of the park. I think he's as good as any midfield player in the league. The tackle from Daniel James last night was a shocker. Yeah. He came off. If he starts, Chelsea have got a good chance. If he doesn't start, well, then you've got to fancy Liverpool. But I've just got a funny feeling that Chelsea can upset them. Steve, the championship is obviously over, but the playoffs are on.
But before you ask the answers, I'm going to give you the betting before you give your selections. Notts Forest is 16-10. Is it to win this game?
To be promoted. This is to be promoted.
Sheffield United 22-10, 7-2 Huddersfield, and Luton 9-2. Right, now let's have a look at Luton Huddersfield.
Yeah, guys, when they bring up... well, the first game's Friday night, Steve. Luton Town versus Huddersfield. How do you see it?
I mean, look, Luton have done incredibly well to get into the playoffs. Obviously, they had the biggest defeat in several years at Fulham last week. But, they did what they had to do and got the 3 points. Huddersfield, I wouldn't say because they finished 3rd, but I think only 2 defeats in 22.
Yeah.
Because Forest have had such a good run, everyone has been talking about Forest. Huddersfield, with a squad that you wouldn't have fancied to get anywhere near the top 6.
Yeah.
Have done incredibly well. I fancy Huddersfield. I fancy Huddersfield to at least draw, if not win at Luton, and to go through on the 2 legs. I just think that having watched the way Fulham Luton apart, I just think Huddersfield will be a little bit too strong for them over the 2 legs.
Okay, but in this particular game, you don't see Huddersfield getting beat, eh?
No, I don't. I think that they'll do enough to at least take them back to Huddersfield, either with a 1-goal win or a draw.
All right, now the 2 favourites to get promotion are Sheffield United and Notts Forest. 13-10 Sheffield United on Saturday. You fancy them, Steve?
Well, I think they know that they probably have to get a result before they go to Forest. Forest have been very strong at home since Steve Cooper's been there. So I think, I don't think you can read too much into what happened with Sheffield United against Fulham because we didn't really turn up.
Yeah.
So, they did what they had to do. But, Forest, I think, with all the hype up until the last few games, people were thinking they could even catch Bournemouth. But in the end, they ended up in their last 5 or 6 games, they drew 1 and lost 2. They couldn't quite do it at the end, Forest. Well, you just, sometimes you don't know whether that would have an effect on them. Yeah. And they go into the playoffs sort of still thinking that they could have gone up automatically had they won at Bournemouth and beaten Hull. I think it'll be close. I wouldn't be at all surprised if Sheffield United just edge that.
Yeah.
I think they might need to take a 1-goal lead to Forest to have any chance. So I fancy Sheffield United by a goal.
Steve, on there was a Friday night game, their last meeting, and Sheffield United were at home. They were all over them, and Forest equalised their header late on. I just got to, I watched Sheffield United. They went to QPR, and I was really impressed what I saw. I know Forest are a young team, but I think Sheffield United will roll them in this game. Now, Steve, who do you think's coming up? That's more crucial.
Well, that's very interesting because at one point it looked like, Sheffield United and Forest are the two favourites, and you were thinking they were going to be kept apart and play each other in the final. So for me, I think the winner of this is definitely going to be favourites. But there's something about Huddersfield. I mean, it's just totally unfancied as they were when they went up a few years ago. I think, but I think if they do go up, I can't see them staying up because they've got no real backing, and I don't think they could afford to they're probably one of the weakest teams that would have come up if they do on paper. But they'll give it a go, and I think nobody really wants to play them because they've been hard to beat. So
you're on 7-2, huh?
Right.
I just think they. I mean, if you look at their record, I mean they've lost.
Yeah, they've only lost two.
In about 22.
Yeah, one was to Bournemouth as well.
It's an incredible run. Yeah, and it's an incredible run, and you just think I think everybody is talking about Sheffield or Forest, and they're probably going to have two really hard games against each other. And if Huddersfield come through relatively unscathed against Luton, I think that they've got a very good chance.
All right, Steve. Talking of chances, I need your best bet and value bet, please, so we can chance the weekend. Who you want?
I'm going to go. I think because they really need it, and I think with the home crowd behind them, I think Everton will beat Brentford. I think they're my best bet. And my value bet, I'm going to go for Huddersfield.
Okay. Well, I think Leicester 13-10 are certainties to beat Watford. And I can't believe Brighton are 19-10. It may have shortened after last night, Steve, but that's a big price. But Steve, thanks very much for your help as always.
Stevie,
we'll speak to you over the weekend.
Thanks very much, Stevie. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, we'll catch up next week.
All the best.
Cheers, Stevie. All right, Budge, let's look at the PSL.
Pressure on, 2 games left.
I just want to touch on the relegation standings first, Budge. There's 2 matches left, as you say. Right, bottom of the log, Barocca have 22 points, minus 19. 2 points ahead of them, Swallows on 24 points, minus 14. TS Galaxy, 26 points, minus 17. Chipper United, 28 points, minus 11. And Marisburg, 28 points. So, best scenario, Barocca 28.
Barocca can only
28 points.
Yeah.
Best scenario for them is 30, 32, 34, and 34. So they're probably playing each other somewhere.
Well, the biggest problem is goals too. They don't score many goals, and that's the biggest hassle with our PSL teams. But anyway, we'll crack on, Paul. The first game is Barocca's make or break. They've got Supersport. The problem with beating Supersport is they've only lost one of the last 7, but they've drawn 5. Supersport. Barocca have got to go for it, Paul.
Yeah.
The home form isn't bad. They've won 2, drawn 1, and lost one of the last 4.
They've got to go for it.
They've got to go for it, Paul. It's a difficult game, but I think the draw 2-1's the play there, Paul. I've watched Supersport. They're not a bad team. They're well organised, but it's make or break at the bottom, Paul.
Cape Town City, a hot favourite.
Yeah, I like Cape Town City, Paul. I watched them play Sundowns when Sundowns had their best team and they drew. For me, they're the second best team in the league by a long way. Amazulu haven't lost, but we went for them last week. They drew 0-0 with Sekakuna at home. I think Cape Town City will roll them in Cape Town, Paul.
Arrows Royal AM.
Paul, I watched Arrows beat Chiefs and they were lucky. Then they went to Maritzburg and got outfought. I like Royal AM, Paul. Okay. I like what I see from that team.
Local?
2-1 local team. They played at Chatsworth.
Sundowns, Stellenbosch?
Paul, I fancied Sundowns last week to beat Chiefs, but they should have got beat. They're going through the motions. They've got the cup final in 2 weeks' time. Steve's done a good job at Stellenbosch, Paul. But, they don't get beat at home too often. So I don't see Sundowns losing, Paul. But it's hard to trust when the league's over.
Now, what about the mighty Chiefs, Budge? What about the Chiefs?
Paul, they played well in the second half against Sundowns. They should have won. They missed a penalty with a few minutes to go. Sekakuna are terrible, Paul. This is at Ellis Park.
12-10, good price?
Paul, it's just hard to trust Chiefs. They don't score too many goals, but Billy Atts is a good player. Dolly as well. Paul, it's 12-10, but it draws a player. I don't see Chiefs losing. And then our man Dylan Kerr.
The key game this because Swallows 24 points and Chipper 28 points.
Chipper have come well. They've only lost 1 of the last 8. So I don't see Chipper getting beat, Paul. The draws,
possible draw?
possible draw for me. 19 to 10 is a draw. We're obviously hoping for Dylan.
Yeah, hoping
but I've
Dylan
watched them
stays
twice.
up.
They're not a good. They don't score, Paul.
Yeah.
So I doubt they'll score here.
They're like Watford.
0-0 draw, yeah.
Galaxy need it. They're on 26 points. They're at home to Maruma.
I like TS Galaxy of the two teams, Paul. But Maruma Galaxy play Sundowns in the final.
A win there will secure it for them.
Yeah, I think this will be their weekend. Maruma Galaxy are in the Nedbank Cup against Sundowns. Their minds elsewhere. Yeah. They haven't won in 7. So you'd expect the TS Galaxy to roll.
All right, but let's look at your soccer picks.
Yeah, Paul. It's all on Sunday, Paul. All the main games are on Sunday. So our Gold Circle Soccer 6. I've gone the field in the Aston Villa Crystal Palace game. I've gone Brighton to avoid defeat at Leeds United, as well as Leicester City to avoid defeat at Watford. I think Man City will be too strong for West Ham, as well as Wolves. I think they'll be too strong for Norwich. And I'm going in the field in the Everton-Brentford clash 2-1-6. On to the other soccer 6 on Sunday. I'm banking Tottenham to beat Burnley. I'm going the field in the Aston Villa Crystal Palace game. Likewise, the Leeds Brighton Hove Albion game. I don't see Leicester City losing at Watford. I've thrown the draw in at Man City at West Ham because I think Wolverhampton will be too strong for Norwich. 2-1-6. On to our Gold Circle Soccer 10. I'm going Aston Villa, win and draw at home against Crystal Palace. I don't see Brighton losing it away at Leeds United. And Leicester City, I don't see them losing at Watford. I'm banking Man City to beat West Ham, Wolves to beat Norwich City. On to the second page, I'm going Everton win and draw at home against Brentford, AC Milan win and draw at home against Atalanta. And I don't see Atletico Madrid losing at home to Sevilla. Barcelona in Madrid against Getafe, I don't see them losing there, and I'm banking Villarreal to beat Real Sociedad 288. On to the Soccer 13, which is on Sunday. I'm going Hammarby, win and draw against ARK. I'm going Helsingborg to avoid defeat against Degerfors. I'm going Häcken, win and draw at home against Kalmar, as long as IFK Gothenburg, win and draw at home against Varbergs Bois. I think IFK Norrköping will be too good for GRF Sundsvall. I'm banking Brighton to beat Leeds. I've gone Everton, win and draw against Brentford. Onto the second page, I'm banking Man City to beat West Ham. Aston Villa, win and draw at home against Crystal Palace. AC Milan, win and draw at home against Atalanta. And ending up with 3 bankers, Inter Milan to beat Cagliari, Napoli to beat Genoa, and Villarreal to beat Real Sociedad 256. On to our Budgies bets for the weekend.
That's
Paul.
the ones I want.
I'm going Brighton to beat Leeds United, Leicester to beat Watford, and I'm going Newcastle with a 1-goal start against Arsenal. So if it's a draw, Newcastle win it 2,200 to 200. Our team goals only. I'm going Chelsea, Leicester City, and Newcastle United, all to score over 1.5 goals, 3,200 to 200. On to the second page, our both teams to score sides are Luton Huddersfield, Chelsea Liverpool, Aston Villa Crystal Palace, Everton Brentford, and Newcastle Arsenal, 3,500 to 200. Our PSL quartet, I'm going Cape Town City to beat Amazulu, Royal AM to beat Golden Arrows. I'm going Chipper United with a 1-goal handicap against Swallows, and I'm going both teams to score in the Barocca Supersport United fixture, 3,400 to 200. Spanish quad, had to find another bet for the weekend. I'm going Atletico Madrid to beat Sevilla, Villarreal to beat Real Sociedad, and both teams to score in the Cadiz Real Madrid and Getafe Barcelona game, 2,700 to 200. And our Collis King 6 on Exeter, I'm going Leicester to beat Watford, Man City to beat West Ham, Tottenham to beat Burnley, Wolves to beat Norwich, Atletico Madrid to beat Sevilla, and Inter Milan to beat Cagliari, 3,400 to 200.
Excellent, Budge. Some very good bets in there. Right, I've had a good look. I think the money's coming our way. I think so, Budge.
Let's hope so.
Let's hope so.
Could do with a few rand.
All right, Budge. That's it. Good football.
Yep, good football and
last one standing.
Last one standing. Pressure's on the boys.
Yeah, it's 4 men and 3 women. Well done to everyone. Until next time, stay on side.